הכל תודה נברך לאלוקינו לארץ חמדה שהנחיל אבותינו מזור וצדה השביע לנפשנו חסדו גבר עלינו באמת השם לכם בחסדך על עמך צורנו הציון משכן כבודך זבו בתפארתנו בן דוד עבדך יבוא ויגאלנו רוח אפינו משיח השם רוח אפינו משיח השם ושם נשיר שיר חדש וברננה נעלה החמן הנקדש יתברך ויתעלה על כל שיעים מלא כברכת השם על כל שיעים מלא כברכת השם
And that great song, which I really love to play for you guys when I'm here on Wednesdays or anytime, is a song entitled Bashir by one of my favorite current Jewish music artists. His name is Shauli Interview. I'm sure you've been listening to my show now. I've been doing this for a while, whether it's my Motzei Shabbos show, my Wednesday show here at the Nachum Segal Network, and you know that I really like to play his music. For some reason, some artists' music just resonates a little bit more deeply with one person than somebody else, and this is just one of those situations. And so this week, I'm in New York for the week as opposed to being based in Baltimore, and I had the fortunate opportunity to get together with Shauli, as we sometimes do, to discuss music, to play music, and I thought it would be a really great idea to speak with Shauli about that song, about a song that he very recently released that you, I'm sure, have been hearing here on NSN. It's a song entitled Ilu. So I just wanted to get his take on what's been going on, his take on these songs, maybe hear some new music that he's got going on, whatever it is that it was going to lead to, and and have a nice conversation with someone whose abilities and there's someone I really respect in this regard. So welcome to the Wednesday Live Lunch, Shauli.
Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing to be here with you once again. And last time actually was a different interviewer, but it's really nice to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, speaking of last time, I do come across every once in a while those songs that you played when you came live to the studio here on the Lower East Side, and really like them. And so yeah, it's a privilege to be able to share your music. So this song, Bashir, how long ago did you release it? It wasn't that long.
Actually, it was about, I think, 5-6 months ago. And basically, it's a song that I composed. I was at a park like a year and a half ago. And the melody started flowing, and he was starting to come to me, and I decided to work on it, slowly. So one piece at a time, and at the end of the day, that's what happened. That song came out. I love this song because it has depth, but at the same time, it's also very spunky. It's got a lot of fun to it. So.
And do you find yourself or members of your family singing it from time to time? Because I know I find myself singing it from time to time. So
yeah, I could hear my kids humming it once in a while. Yeah.
It's really nice when that happens. When I walk around my house and sometimes I'll come up with a song or something, and you hear the kids playing or something, and you can kind of hear them kind of singing something that you've done, or it's a good feeling. It means you've gotten in their brain.
It's validating. Yeah, it definitely gives you that feeling that you might have a tune that's clicking in people's minds. So that's great. And once I was actually in yeshiva somewhere, I was learning somewhere, and I was in the hallway, and I heard somebody singing one of my songs, and I don't think he knew I was there. So it was that was very nice.
Now, when you take a song like that and you come up with it, and then we get it as a finished product, and so, for example, part of it that really comes out beautifully at some point, as I was asking you before about, there's a horn sound in it, and so I guess what's a little bit like your process when you're sitting with a song and you're trying to find out pieces that are going to come together with it, from whether you're just composing it first on a piano or an acoustic guitar, and all of a sudden it gets all these layers and great things to it. Is that something where you're going to kind of feel it right away, or is it like a labor where you just be like, oh, I have 10,000 sounds here, let me try to use as many as I can just to see which one would be best?
That's a great question. And the answer is pretty much, so when I compose a song, sometimes I do have an idea where I'm going to take it as far as the arrangements go. But in all cases, once I get to the studio and I start working the tracks, first usually I lay down the guitar track. Some songs it's a piano. But once I do that, usually I'm going to try different things out. It's really trial and error, and certain things I thought are going to work out don't end up working out. But when I started putting the horns on this specific song, it really added a lot to it, and that's why you get that really nice sound for the horns at different parts of the song. So,
yeah, well, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So then it was actually a little bit, because this is not something that you're doing full time, so it felt a little bit quick that I don't know, maybe it wasn't that quick because you're saying the other one was about 5 months ago, but to me it felt a little bit quick that you had already now came out with this new song, a collaboration, which also is not that long ago came out, within the last...
It was actually Lag BaOmer.
Well, all right, time's flying.
That's right.
So that came out, and I was like, wow, this is another great track, and so I listened to it, and I'll be honest with you, not what I expected, and you actually talk about that, and so it felt a little bit left field, not like the voice obviously is right there, the melody, but then just the fact that it's on more of a dance beat, you would say. Is that the best?
It's electronic music.
Uh-huh. So how did that come together? How did this collaboration come together, and what made you feel comfortable to say, I want to take that leap to do something which maybe to some of my more traditional listeners would be a little bit, left field? Right.
So this is an interesting story. There is a very talented fellow by the name of Moshe Baruch Ackerman. And his artist name is Alterix, and he's an electronic music producer, and amazing music. He's very creative, very talented. He's also a engineer, studio engineer. So basically, he reached out to me a couple of times in the past, and we spoke a few times. Very nice person. So he called me. Actually, it was before the second days of Pesach. And he said, look, I have this song, I have the music, it's already, I arranged it, the music is there, but it needs a melody, and you need somebody to sing it. And I was thinking that maybe you could do it, maybe you would like to do it. So I told him, send it to me, and I'll listen to it. So when he sent it to me, I heard it, and obviously I was like, this is so different to what I'm used to, because usually it's acoustic, and it's it's a folky, but this was so different. But I remember when I first heard that low part, in my head, that whole first verse of da 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 da, like I heard it in my head as I was listening to the first or the second time. And that's really what caught me to that song. That's what caught my attention. And at that point, I spent after Pesach at some point, Baruch Hashem, I was able to come up with a nice melody and the words, and he liked it. And even though it was different, but it was exciting for me to work on something unique and different. And Baruch Hashem, it's been accepted very, very well. People like it, and they're downloading it, and it was really a great experience. And I'm very happy I did it.
So I was curious about that, whether this was something you had your words and your melody, and it came afterwards. So he approached you, and obviously those words that you use, I don't know if it's nice to say one part of tefillah is nicer than the other, but those words happen to be very poetic and very, very beautiful.
Right.
And so how did it, I guess when did that come together? Just because you had the melody, now you had to fit the words, or you're just sitting there davening and you see those words and that comes together? How does that, I guess what was the point where you said these are the words that are going to work? Did you try other words as well and these just fit better, or just once you got those words, it had to? Because I know for me, I have a thing where if I write words in a song and I start to put it together for myself, it's very, very difficult for me to take those words, and those other people can do it when they write songs. You hear of people, they try a lot of different things. For me, it's very difficult to take the two apart. I don't know how that process works for you.
Right. That was a very good question. So those words, Ilu Pinu Malashira Kayam, I've been thinking about it for quite some time, because they're so beautiful. But the hardship with those words is that there's so much. There's a lot of words. So how do you fit that into a song?
Right.
And that's why right away that it hit me that those words might fit this, because if you sing it in a very quick way, and Baruch Hashem was able to fit all those words into that first part. And I don't think I had any other. Could be I thought about other words, but it was nothing that I was serious about. These words I really tried hard. Now, I tell you the truth, I never told this to Moshe Baruch, but there was one point where I was close to getting it, but I was not able to get it. It wasn't coming together for me, and I knew I had something, but it wasn't happening to where I knew that I have something, complete. So I was ready to tell him that I might not be able to do it. And he doesn't even know this. I was thinking that maybe it's not going to work out. But then I said I'm going to give it another shot. And I sat down for 3-4 hours. And Baruch Hashem, I got everything, the wording and the phrasing. It worked out perfectly. And I sent him a demo that day and he loved it. But it wasn't easy, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a melody from an existing track. All the chords, all the arrangements were there, and you just have to basically put a melody in there. So that was pretty hard. I never had to do that before, but Baruch Hashem, the results are very nice.
So you tend to work the other way, where you'll come up with melody and a few chords first, and then choose words. Like, do you have a typical process, or?
Well, it was really two things. It was the fact that I needed to come up with a melody, and also I needed to come up with words. But once I had the words, it was also fitting them into an existing track. Usually what I do is either I have a tune and I'll put some words in it, or I have the words and I put a tune to it. But this was different. There was already an existing track with all the chords, and I had to create a melody to go in there. That's why I found it was pretty hard, because you have to basically have a little box you have to work within. So.
Right. Well, you guys did a great job. I think with those lines, part of it is because one of them, a couple of them kind of have a flow and it's even, and then there's one line or something that sticks out, which makes it like a little bit too long.
Right. Could be. But I just want to say about Moshe Baruch that he's so creative and he's so talented, and above all, he's a huge mensch, a real big mensch, so nice and pleasant and easy to work with, and very important to him what my side is. In other words, he wants to know what I think of things, and if something didn't sound right, he was happy to tweak things, in a way that would be okay for me. And he's really amazing, and he's up and coming. And one day, I think, I'm going to be hearing a lot about him, Ultrix.
Did you record your parts and your stuff here, or he has a studio that you did it by him? Because I know
no.
you've got a home studio where you do a lot of your great music.
No,
So
it's actually he's in Florida.
oh,
So he sent it to me. Everything was by email. So he sent me the tracks, and I recorded the vocals here.
right. Oh, it's not so far.
He
I mean,
mixed it and he engineered and he also mastered it.
I mean, so now not only because you've already done a collaboration with at least one person in Toronto, right? Back in the day.
What do you mean? We
And
did the song
right,
together.
exactly.
One
So
person.
he was in. Well, he was based in Toronto. Graham Tuggeman's
Right.
based in Toronto when you guys
Right.
worked together. And now you've got someone in Florida that you work together.
That's right.
So have you?
Not days. I mean, that's all music is made. Half the music that we hear is made in Israel,
Right.
and the singers sing it over here. You know, the actual music production is in Israel, and the vocals a lot of times are sung here.
Right. So I do want to play the song out as we're going to be going out of the interview, but I also wanted to, before we do that, just take a minute or two just to find out if you're working on any projects right now, if we can be looking forward to in the near future or far future songs coming up, because I'm always looking forward to getting more music from you.
Right. So first, before I say anything else, I just want to thank you. You've always been such an encouraging person in my music, and you always just asking me about it, and you're always I feel the encouragement, and it helps me move forward and make more music, and I appreciate that very much about you and your friendship. So thank you for that. I'm actually slowly I'm recording. I have already, I would say probably about 4 songs towards my next album. Unfortunately, it's a much slower process than I wanted. People make fun of me that I say I'm putting out a new album and I don't. But it's not my fault. I do have other things I'm doing. But I really try. I try to get to as much as I can. I don't have anything specific I'm releasing in the near future. But I am working on a few different things. And Be'ez Hashem, if it comes closer, I'll let you know about it. But I would love to play something new for you guys today.
All right, great new live music. All right, so that would be awesome. So how about we'll do that now. What's the name of the song?
It's between 1 or 2 names, but basically it's called Wake Us Up.
All right, awesome. Well, we are looking forward to hearing some great live music on this Wednesday live lunch here at the Nachum Segal Network. So this is Avrumi. We are here with Shauli Atias. And so Shauli, take it away.
Thank you, Avrumi. Call the morning back. Let the darkness stay where it's dark. And then I will open my eyes so wide when you wake me up. When you wake me up. Oh, oh. Call all the doves back home to the place they can sing their song, and then they will find a dry branch to rest on when you wake us up. When you wake us up. When you wake us up. התעוררי, התעוררי, כברך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד השם עלייך נגלה. כבוד השם עלייך נגלה. לה 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 La 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 la.
All right, hearing brand new live music with Shauli Atias here during the Wednesday live lunch here at the Nachum Segal Network. And we have been talking with Shauli for a few minutes now, first about his single Bashir, and then his collaboration with Altorix entitled Ilu. And we thank Shauli so much for joining us today. It was really an honor and privilege. I know a lot of my listeners out there know I really don't do interviews in my shows that much, but I figured I did not want to lose this chance. And we are going to close out today's interview by playing this song by Shauli Atias and by Altorix. This is entitled Ilu. And Shauli, thank you so much for joining me here on this Wednesday live lunch for the Nachum Segal Network. Just any final words you want to say to our listening audience before we go?
I want to thank you again, and I want to thank the Nachum Segal Network for this opportunity. And thank you everybody for listening, and all the best to everyone.
All right, awesome. Here is Ilu. You are tuned into the Wednesday live lunch here at the Nachum Segal Network.
פינו מלא שיר הקיים מול שוננו רינה כמון גלה בשפתותינו שבח כמרחב ורקיע בעינינו מאירו כשמש וחי הריח בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כאיילות אין אנחנו מצליקים להוידויס לכו השם אין אנחנו מצליקים להוידויס לכו השם שיר הקיים מול שוננו רינה כמון גלה בשפתותינו שבח כמרחב ורקיע ועינינו מאירות כשמש וחי הריח וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כאיילות אין אנחנו מצליקים להוידויס לכו השם אין אנחנו מצליקים להוידויס לכו השם